I am romance reader and reviewer Liz Donatelli. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance, a romance novel talk show that features entertaining interviews with authors and publishing insiders. My guest this episode is USA Today best-selling romance author MIA Sosa. Mia and I chatted about her romantic comedy, The Worst Best Man, what makes her a badass, and much more. Plus, Mia plays rom-com writing game Keep, Tweak, or Scrap. Enjoy. Hi, Mia. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance.
Hi, Liz. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Let's talk about your rom-com, The Worst Best Man.
So, The Worst Best Man is the story of Carolina Santos, who is a Brazilian American, first generation. She's a wedding planner up and coming in Washington, D.C. She discovers through a conversation with her fiance's younger brother that the fiance isn't going to show up for their wedding. So the wedding planner becomes the jilted bride. Fast forward 3 years, and she is interviewing for her dream position as a wedding coordinator for a boutique hotel. It's kind of an unconventional interview. She's going to have to work with marketing experts. And it turns out that the marketing team consists of the ex-fiance and the younger brother. She decides that she's going to work with the lesser of two evils, the younger brother. They ultimately fall in love.
Nina, her mother, her aunts, her brother, her cousin, they're entertaining. Are any of Lena's family members based on your own? And do they know it?
There are characters in The Worst Best Man who are inspired by my family. There are people who I thought of and things that they've said, things that they've done, experiences that they've had that kind of have inspired me, but they're not an exact copy of those folks in my life. I have a cousin who is very, very dear to me. She has no idea that the big personality that is Natalia was inspired by her. She actually texted me as she was reading The Worst Best Man and was asking, is this person? Is this person? And I was like, you're guessing, but it's kind of an amalgamation of like all of these people, right? It's not any one person.
Do you feel more or less pressured to write about a culture and a people that are personal to you?
More pressure. I think there's the pressure to get it right. And then there's the pressure to make sure that I'm communicating my love. Food in a book for me is a way to show my connection to a culture. It's a way to show my connection to memories. It's a way for me to thank my mother for all of the meals that she made for me that I absolutely love and still love to this day.
I highlighted several passages in my e-reader. This is one of my favorite. There's no single way to be a badass. I need to know, Mia, how are you a badass?
I think I am a badass because I have always really tried to set an example for others in that what's important is being a good person and being happy. What that looks like and what success means to me isn't necessarily what everyone would say is a measure of success. I've sort of rejected the idea of typical success and sort of said, you know what? I want to be happy. I want to be with my family. I want to have time to enjoy them. Now, look, I'll be honest here. I grew up poor. And then my mother was one of those big advocates for education and sort of said, education is the thing that's going to get you out. And she was absolutely right. And so I ended up going to college. I ended up going to law school. I ended up becoming a law firm partner. All of those things are like, you know, the notion, the typical notion of success. And there's no question that I'm super proud of what I've done. But what I am really super proud of is that I'm showing my daughters that being happy and doing what brings you joy and that is really your passion is just as important as all of the accolades. Writing The Worst Best Man reinforced for me that I can be precisely who I am, and it is absolutely okay. Writing Lena's experience and sort of seeing that she's, her character arc is one where she does change in small ways. It's not a huge change, but she goes through a journey. But what she doesn't do is do a complete 180. And that's one of those things that I've always wondered, like, should I be completely different? What should I do? How do I do? And and we pick ourselves apart so much. This book, I think, really helped me to sort of say, I'm not gonna like do all of this stuff to contort myself and make myself a different person. It's just not necessary. I am not a naturally funny person. I'm just not. I am that person who will see something happen at the store or, if I'm outside somewhere, and I will think about a cute response or a witty retort like a half an hour, a day later. I don't write funny, I live funny.
As a discerning romance writer, I invite you to review the following elements and decide on whether you would 100% keep, tweak, or rework the idea, or scrap it all together. 2020 COVID pandemic, Y2K 1999, or 1980, around the time of the debut of the Rubik's Cube.
I would completely scrap the pandemic.
Okay, that's out.
I just don't think I can make it funny, nor would I want to. I kind of like the idea of making my books an escape. Keep is the Y2K scenario, because I like the idea from a craft perspective of having a deadline and something that the characters are working towards. And the idea that perhaps something really big is going to happen and it could potentially maybe not happen, or there could be a character who totally doesn't think anything dramatic is going to happen and then something really dramatic happens. I can work with that. I would tweak the Rubik's Cube, tweak it to like some kind of techie convention where the protagonists kind of meet at this Rubik's Cube convention, and they're the people who can figure out the configuration the fastest, and they're competitors. I think I could tweak that one to actually make it work.
A mortician, an emoji developer, a spoken word performance artist. Which would you keep, tweak, or scrap?
I think I would keep the emoji developer. I am a big fan of including text messages in my writing. And so I could see a novel where an emoji developer is actually using the development of various emojis to woo the other character. I think I'd have a lot of fun with that one. I would tweak the spoken word artist. And I say that only because even in The Worst Best Man, I had this little scene where Max is kind of lamenting the end of his relationship with Lena, and he gets on stage and does his whole spoken word thing on open mic night. That is one of the scenes where I just giggled so hard as I was writing it, and I could just sort of see kind of a spoken word artist using this stage as a confessional for whatever is going on in the relationship. So I would tweak that one, and I would I think I could work with that one. I think I would scrap the mortician, just because I kind of feel like a lot of it would be cheap jokes. And I don't know that I would want to go there. And also, it's the fantasy and the escape. I think I'd want to stay away from it.
A character eats a bologna and ketchup sandwich every day. Character wears clothes only in shades of blue. Or a character collects circus paraphernalia.
Okay, I think I would keep the character only wearing blue. I think that could be a fun one, and getting behind why that character only wears blue, and it being sort of a source of other people remarking on it could be really funny. So I think I would keep that one. Tweak, I think it would be the circus paraphernalia. Although I'm trying to think, like, what is circus paraphernalia?
That would be for the writer to decide.
But since I'm tweaking it, I can come up with like some kind of
something specific
explanation for what that is. I'm not really sure. What was the last one?
Character eats a bologna and ketchup.
Oh yeah, I'd scrap that one. That one's just, yeah, I don't know that I could work with that one. Okay, so I had nothing here for the longest time. And then once I realized I was going to be doing a bunch of Zoom events, I was like, okay, I've got to get something. So I got this shelf to match the existing shelf. What's really funny is that whenever I do these Zoom events, people are like, is this our shelf? Like, is this it? And I'm like, no, that's my shelf. This shelf has kind of all of my, I have my books and a couple of mom type things that my daughters have done for me. Nice. And then I don't know if you can see down here, I asked them to take one of the lines from the upcoming book, The Wedding Crasher. Sometimes the detour becomes the destination. So they each did just a little sign for me that I look at from time to time as I'm brainstorming ideas for the book. Over here, I've got one of my posters. Avon is so great for almost all of my books. I have one of the like large posters that we use for signings, and I get to keep them and take them home. Those are my girls when they were a lot younger. And then we've got my writing partner, Zoe, who this is her couch. And everybody in this house knows it. My husband's like, you say that you bought this so that people could sit in here and join you, but really it's for her, and it's true. And I've got I've got books and kind of random decorative items. And this is something that I would never buy for myself. I'm kind of a big deal, but my husband did. And because he bought it, I keep it on here because I think it's really just a sweet thing that he thought of. Friends are like stars. You don't have to see them to know that they're there. That is actually a pillow that I got from one of my great friends, Olivia Dade, who's a romance writer. My bad bitch pin, which another one of my friends, Tracy Livesey, has a matching pin that we got at Loyalty Bookstore. We saw these and we're like, we have to have them. So I keep that on my desk just to remind me that I am a bad bitch.
Well, thank you again so much for your time and sharing your insights and talent with me on Reader Seeks Romance.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I had so much fun.